Hello everyone, welcome to xFusion Education Center, FusionServer Common Troubleshooting Cases from xFusionServer Partner Empowerment. Before we start introducing troubleshooting cases, it is necessary to get to know the process of locating common server problems. Here are the steps of locating common server problems. Firstly, we need to prepare manuals, user guide, and tools, which can be found on our support website. Secondly, we should collect complete information that is helpful for fault diagnosis and locating. Thirdly, use a fault locating method to find the root cause of the fault, and formulate and implement troubleshooting plans. Fourthly, obtain technical support, which means if you encounter a problem that is difficult to determine or resolve during device maintenance or troubleshooting, and the issue still cannot be solved according to the instructions provided in the document, please contact xFusion technical support. Next, let's see the first step of troubleshooting, information collecting. When a server is faulty, you need to collect the following information for fault diagnosis. We need to know the basic information such as server model, server configuration, for example, how many disks the server has, which type of the network card is, the iBMC, BIOS configuration or the RAID configuration. We also need to know the fault occurrence time, the fault symptom, for example, disk alarm, the network cannot be recognized, the system crash, and extra. If the customer suspects the hardware issue, you should at first collect hardware logs, which we call server iBMC logs. The iBMC logs are used to identify server hardware or firmware faults. If the issue is related to the operating system or the iBMC logs are not enough for locating fault component, for example, the network transmission issues, the disk input-output error issues, and so on, we need to collect operating systems and service software logs to analyze driver, operating system, or software problems. Here is a good example for basic information collection. The server model is 2288HV5 and the correct server serial number. The server hardware configuration about CPU, memory, RAID card, and network adapter models, etc. The operation system, for example, SUSE 11SP1, 64-bit, and the service software version, for example, Oracle 10U2, etc. Please remember to ask the customer about the fault occurrence time and the fault symptom. For example, the system automatically restarts during installation. Record the action before fault occurrence, like the customer modified the BIOS watchdog, and the action taken after fault and results. For example, remove the power cable and reinstalled. The fault persists. Replace the CD-ROM. The fault persists, etc. After we get the basic fault information clear, we can ask the customer whether there is device indicators and error codes on the front panel of the server. The fault diagnosis LED is 3 short line means the server is operating normally. If some other number or letter occurs, it means a component is faulty. For more information, please check FusionServer Rack Server iBMC alarm handling. I listed some common device indicators here, such as fault diagnosis LED, power button, UDI button, health status indicator, and LOM port connection status indicator. When the health status indicator is off, that indicates the device is powered off or the device is faulty. When blinking red at 1 Hz, the major alarm has been generated on the system. When blinking red at 5 Hz, critical alarm has been generated on the system. The UID indicator helps identify and locate a device. We can find the device when it's blinking or stayed blue. Next, let me introduce you how to collect alarm and event information. Logging into the iBMC and click the following path: Maintenance to Alarm and SEL. Click System Event. You can obtain the work log information. You can also click the one-click information collecting button on the homepage of iBMC, Wait for about 5 minutes and the dump info log will be downloaded by the Explorer. The picture on the right side shows the directory and files of hardware logs. This form shows us the detailed description and path of each file content. For example, from maintenance log, we can check mainboard voltage fault, system power drop, RAID controller card out-of-band communication, disk fault, etc. Next, those are the methods of collect logs for different operating systems. For Windows and Linux OS, use FusionServer tools to collect logs. For details, please refer to FusionServer Tools user guide on xFusion support website. For VMware OS, those are the steps of collecting OS logs, and you can refer to the document we put along with this clip. Okay, after information collection, here's some to fault location. Here are the common fault locating methods, like using the troubleshooting tool, rectify the fault according to the alarm, fault code, and indicator. Based on the symptoms, we can use minimum test, cross-test with same part, add or reduce parts to rectify the fault. And those 3 tests are the most commonly used method. If the problem cannot be solved after rectifying and testing, contact our xFusion technical support for log analysis. Next, I will briefly introduce 5 typical server faults locating and analysis cases. Typical problem 1, memory fault. Typical problem 2, the server cannot be powered on, 1. Typical problem 2, the server cannot be powered on, 2. Typical problem 3, hard disk fault, 1. Typical problem 3, hard disk fault, 2. Typical problem 4, RAID fault. Typical problem 5, the power indicator is off. Those are the contents of troubleshooting and typical faults locating and analysis cases. For more information, you can reference to server troubleshooting and maintenance guide on xFusion support website. Thank you.